ewo osom ene adesua kwan so eno nti ye fi ase no me de aseda ebema elder otin nokre okache me se dwumadie bi sei ekoso na obepese mebalan yuso no. I think that me have meninka almost 3 weeks in it. Now, those of us in this arena, no, yeah, na yet yes, yeah, who say you are hey, you want penny for Ghana, one more bar, professors, no, any doctors, no, yeah, I feel that you did eba, and until so mobile no platforms be saying, I na you who here say you be more platform na omunim de ene adwuma no se de ekọ ene ade no omune yen be share nti ene wo onyame adum and we making it possible say yen share na yen dwendwen enema ba akumienu bi ho agidi for elder amame topic say I should discuss nti I was thinking say without any framework, what am I going to talk about? But with prayers, any experience, kakra, menyano, I decided, say, and then we should be talking about going with our children, the education addition. Me Kasan Chebebe, I have about 30 minutes, and then the rest we will do a lot of discussion and answer questions and answers. Now, this is what informed Maybe assistant principal and chair. Now, as part of the job, no training focal. And until my school and my woman, no. Fortunately or unfortunately, we have a lot of veterans. Now, veterans, one challenge that comes with the veteran teachers, they say, when it comes to technology, they are unable to sort of merge technology with how things are. It's a challenge. And that was one of my focus. The other focus is you are teaching high school students. Now, high school students, say about 9th grade, 10th grade, you're okay. But you come out 11th and 12th grades, you have those who are very smart. You have those who almost feel so many kakra into sometimes someone know so far. Now, in one of the classes, there was this teacher that who called the class who said and shut down it's said Kolano obia ye dia open. Me family who as a parent na me de me baba school na ne class ni a open na wo ye na nkofo ne nam ha. It's not a good thing. And I spoke with this person or catch me say the challenge ne say untimi engaging Kolano. I was like, okay. So untimi dia a responsibility say me can't be see topic we so na ya kwa bisuani. Ena mene no ye meeting nti emwani mu no in fact oye broni so ni awokan ye ne se wo be pese me meche class ne baako isan so no feel say the class is challenging na me can say class ne nye challenging sa if oye nieme yi a nti me meche class ne baako na won hwe se dia me ye no nti me ka che ne say it's okay, I'll do it. Na the day before I make me check class I'm gonna hear no. I had a series of meetings with the superintendent, with my principal, with the attendance team, and all of that. I asked to say, curriculum we're using only one lesson. I'm not going to change anything in that lesson. Whatever or the bebano may. The next day na me koya no pana me do school no na me say me go through said there be obey presentation anyway I'm going through just to see say everything is okay. Me go through. And I mean who topic I was discussing. The topic teacher no afase enkola no nsua Illuminati. Topic no Illuminati. And my friend I said, na Illuminati dear. Na utimi kofa Illuminati say ye me chere ho ade nche nkola. And this is nye ayike say I was distraught for about 5 minutes. But at that moment, change I have to think on my feet. One, also up engagement. And you have to go and engage the kids. Now, when you say what to me, yes, said you bet me a be from topic is a topic that I'm comfortable with. I did it for I walked into the class and I started. Immediately, I started warm-up activity. About 5 of the kids were like, listen, I'm not going to do this. Why? Why should I be talking about Illuminati? I was like, whoa, today is going to be today. I just briefly, just like a few seconds, just do something. Do something. Now, Jimmy said, okay, we are not going to talk about the concept Illuminati. But I am a Christian and I have strong feelings about Illuminati. Until then, Obian share an opinion about Illuminati. Now, for do one opinion, no, yeah, activity for fun. Until then I was able to get the kids to be talking. The kids were going around. And the consensus was like, we hate it, right? Until we hate it, no. Then I'm like, if we hate it, then let's design a placard to speak against Illuminati. It was a success. I didn't delve deep into Illuminati or anything. Now, that Illuminati thing, as an Adventist elder, as Obiaya training me in Adventism, I'm a woman. Na me sure say ya wo nyina so ya training yes na imagine say what the wo wa won ka ho hwe na Illuminati discussions bi sa ene ye training. And my topic is going with our children, the education edition. I did it for. It is about high time. As I said, what our kids are learning. And your representation when you crown, me person me see the importance of Christian Adventist education. So now in this mix, you have a role to play. The community has a role to play, and the church also has a role to play. Now, say you to me, sa so. I want us to also think about the benefits that our children will get from holistic education. So you can't education. What's your saying? Now, saying. Is it say you did a money go school say anopa 7 abo into jari ne ko? And I say bibi ka ho a e bia yenye no yi a say ye ma ye ni ko. Anyway, eno ho ade ena yesua. So ohwe education a very broad. And until your formal education and your informal education. So you can't formal education. Say the Eninam school the 4 walls near cut from middle school to high school like that. Informal education and so you're broad. You're gonna form this. You can't informal education. I think that the critical thing that comes to mind, oh, say you walk Ghana no me kaipa na ya na no mkoye a be de a f ge fa a fa ne sa it's eno na wa ya adwene. But informal education goes beyond that. For me, I understand it to be all the forms of education we get that within the confines of the school system. Now, what can I write a book or what just say the Christian education? Or say children are in great need of proper education. Indeed, someone will ask, say, what is the definition of proper education? Agidi for the definition of proper education, any education that blends and also triangulates what yesuya was school, with the Juma skills in anya. Nia yesuya morally sorry dear. Any idea bia Bible in church eka ho. And until can kaya or say, in order that their lives should be of use in the world, education nyame dia no nka ho. Ye mofra no beko omo be ye dia wo mo betumi be aye bia. But for we will have the moral issues cropping up. And until I say, but any effort that exalts intellectual culture above moral training is misdirected. Into say training no ya de ma mofra no. Say ye suku mu say ye fie be bia ye wo. Say training no koye say oh akola we dia wa ben enti eno nko we have a problem. Ebinya mofra se nyame anso ye mu a ombe ye tutufo. Ebinya mofra se nyame nka ho a obra no ye ntiase ma womo. Enunti when oka about education me nkenkan ni nyina. Nya woma ya tiase ne se ese eye balanced. Na se wujai wo ba mi jai me ba se onkwa na wono nko akọ me de ne se me koye madwuma enu nti adwuma no a it's going to be a problem. Ye beye adwuma no enya sika bebre ba ebre a ye manu nka ye behwe se su ene banya ye de tete yen entete ye pa ye de ma ye wo fie anka ni nyina mebomu na ema ye mano enye holistic no, we will miss out. And until if you are a parent on this line, ya yesu ma ehun hia. Enye all the time na me hwehwe say be always involved, but so we are busy said ya and me can say me di home for. Enti me can me sua. We have to be very on it. And yes, sir, our children will be indoctrinated. Na ye be church Illuminati, ye be church gay, ye be church lesbianism. It's say it is in vogue. Ewo important ha. And the questions are ye bisa ye hunye. Ye mana ye ni wom. Ehin na ye ko. Na ye manu kwa mponso kwa hwan ene ni wom ko. Edie ben ni ye hia se ye de ebeko. Where are we going? Ejidi for yanyu humanu mayete asese ahei enye ye fie. We are in transit. But as part of the transiting process, no, ye be hia dwuma. Ye be hia sika. Ese so obra no ye bobi. Enunti so we share the formal education no pa. All that it is doing is it will equip you with skills that will make you employable. And I say if you want to be an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur. But that is not the final point. Until yes, you're the Mabeko Suku. Yes, I was saying you're pushing for education and all of that. But the end point, and then they say, whatever we are acquiring should help us to get to the final destination, which is Osoro. As part of the going process. And you won't bear responsibility. No? The teachers and the schools are playing a part. Other organizations, even the communities are playing parts. And the church in Sokran, we have some parts to play. But are we doing it? And if we are doing it, how are we doing it? Where are we doing it? When are we doing it? I'm very passionate about this because na minim senka university mune college for no. Any started Illuminati, any enema. But even at the high school level, it has started. And Timasi, because my experience, me started in middle school and now I'm in high school. And if at the high school level, you show me we here, and you won't do colleges, no. For in America right now, the state is pushing for a curriculum. The state is pushing for it. And he said, what can you say? You go to school, no say, we are going to acquire education. And you be some who say, education, no money, when he near them woman. And he said, me Diana say, me will fear, me Diana say, an opaco, who we are waba, yama homework, why ya? A bear crown. Na near your mano echechen. Where are we going? Maybe a year course. Nia ye no. As I said, a boy yen. Na say am yen na de yebeko so dom ni gomura kwan so a. Then as I said, ye. Who is going with our kids? Who is going with our kids? Proverbs say, train up the child the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. And who is doing the training? And in this presentation, what I'm trying to let us all be aware of, and they say, as parents and families, we have to take a decided interest. Number 2, okay, Colossians chapter 3:16. Or say, let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom through psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your heart. Whose responsibility is it? It is the church. It is the church. Maybe I may read these statistics. Now I can count Psalms and so on. Then Psalms also put some of the responsibility on the community. You can't community.
Okay.
Community. And hateful. And only wo me yenina ye can ye ho abom se ye man chere ho ehia. E bia ye ntimi nwe se ye nwa ye besen ato aso. Agiri for holistic education should help you to follow Christo framework. Now, Bible say, yes, or say he increased in wisdom. He increased in stature. He increased in favor with God and with man. Say, you can't wisdom. Or say, I'm penning focus, it was school nyansa. Any wolf nyansa. School nyansa no. Here. But if ye nyansa nso hu hia pa. Na if ye nyansa no, say a bit to me aba. These people have roles to play. The parents, the church, and the community. Mama minking kind. Statistics be. Share. According to UNESCO, say America here ye way offer the population about 20%. And a drop it out. Primary school, a drop it out. That means they don't even complete middle school. So your secondary level, hey, high school on one. Drop out rates no double. Now, you catch social demographic factors, any near maybe a kika. And he is in classes with people in this bracket. Now, 1 year, 1 year, research my say about 23% under the care of single parents. Enti se wo hwe ye mofra ye tete wo mu free Ghana and Ghana musua de bia me ka se they are so different from ye nkola yi aye wa nti obi abeka cho se school adwuma de anka me de anka me pesa wo be yo school de it's not say the thinking is and mofra ni bo ho mo ye rowdy ana se wo mo ani ede, and it is true. Ukonya mofra bi e wo certain schools and answer bracket bi mu a, it is even higher. And your mofra any woman na esua there. And research my head say whenever you cohabit with a group of people for a very long time, omusubi opeke, omadiyo bi opeke. Into what our your mofra, what are they picking when ye jai woman say womanko? Going with our kids, the education addition. For all that I am saying is, if our kids are going, we cannot let them go alone. As parents and families, we have to follow them. As a church, we have to follow them. And as a community, we have to follow them. And their focus on the parents, families, and the church. For the role of parents. Christian education, wow, we can kind chapter 14 now. I think it's a paragraph 2, no? Or see, if parents would feel it a solemn duty that God enjoins upon them to educate their children for usefulness in this life, if they would adorn the inner temple of the souls of their sons and daughters for the immortal life, we should see a great change in society for the better. And quite recently, all my talking point has been said, baby, as I say, you portray a certain identity. Now, that identity no you be portray no. I thought the beer you free our phone. I did it for research. MIT say, so what your population in about 20% of your population ya kokan krofua wo moma disua ne ehia wo moane say your school fees ntiko nubi, but that is not enough. And unti so ye owofo and medical can say with my present preoccupations, no, I am gradually falling into this category. Unti me kasano, I'm talking for me too. A very important part say you always have to get the contacts of your children's teachers. Very important. Very important. Because if we don't do it like that, that kind of absence, no, with time, it creates an effect to be where the child does not feel your presence in your life. Just yesterday, we had a meeting with a student. And at BBS here, we wanted to resolve it. Now, in the resolution process, no, any affair about Franny Mammy say one. Now, about Franny Mammy, do you say your buy? Now, what buy ye no? About Franny Bisano, principal nim, we had other members there said, now who fi now who fi a who be. I feel Casanimuno. The engagement that el kosu with or ni mammy no simply suggests to say, we're counting it out. Now, unya BBC in an environment where ye che Illuminati. Now, ye boa bofran wana se ye mo. Ejidi for ahobrasiemu. We should check on our kids. I thought there'd be just a phone call. Me pa cho me bano Nia wo ye no eye. Ede be nkra na musua. Teacher, walk me through it. And if nia watcha ubano is not in line with your principles, you can speak up. But yen free, ye be den kura hunu. Mami bi, papa bi, ewola enyi so a. Ontimi nka ncho even the grade kura ne bawo. It's a problem. It's answer we are not involved. Now, if we are not involved, ebeye den ena ye mofrey enya the needed education. Okay, nkan kwa se wa me wie sesi ya na ya pause na ya bisa questions kakra ye nwie a ye besen ato aso. O say parents become more and more careless in the education of their children if the useful branches are not present. And we mind be you are a strong stakeholder. Oba edisunyam. Na wamu kweyam. Ni awo ye nim. Teacher the award children we don't know. Yen frempo parent teacher conference kra ebi have a problem. Obeka cho say we adwumam it won't me. And for when we do that, we are setting our kids up for failure. Mama menkasa briefly about the church's role. Now, Yonko questions and answer. And for say about church in one. When we talk about a church, we are talking about a group of people who have come together under a certain doctrine, a certain a premise. Be say ye jinyame di ana ye niema ye no is in line with onyame akwanchers. It's a group. But in the group, we may have other groups. Into Yebetimianya Yonkers Church, Yebetimianya First Ghana Church, Yebetimianya Ohio Church, or whatever church it is. But we are still under a body, one body. It's always about school. Yes, yeah. Say one body, one flesh, one God, one belief, one faith. And as a church, no. Yes, it's not all the parents that may get time, but say, you're united. Where the parents are unable to fill the gap, no, the church will fill the gap. And how does the church fill the gap? The church fills the gap through your community relations programs. I know that some of the churches do well. Now, anyway, one critical thing that from my little experience that I have had, no, and it said, the education department of every Adventist church, and Senyame Boame Pa Mamenya platform, I will trumpet this every platform. That team should make sure, say, they have the student list of every student in the church. And if not a week, at least a month, they should call their schools and check on them. Build relationships with the campus ministry, and even with the permission of the Nkolano parents, no, build those relationships with even the teachers. For a very important. Because by so doing, you know, your more feel they are part of a community. I went for an interview. Now, after the interview, the kid was crying. And I maybe saying, say, Ade. Ni abofrani kenyina ni say, you did not go to prison pain. Or your bro, I say, akata ayi kakra. I'm saying, you didn't call. And what church me moon watch or mama at say, after say you didn't call by the community obenya year through a sorry be a wording who called them year any said ya not one more no. And no nemani sunesa answer or kaya or believe say senka onya sa opportunity noa anka ankobano sa. Enunti akwanrefo a yehia mu ana se enya akwanrefo agidifo menka ne sa a yehia mu. We are all members of the church. Enunti it's always important to say ye be kika ye ho abom na fe ya check on ye mofran, especially when you work college, you know. It's good. Say bofra beka say ofi ne papa na ne maame nchen say wo kọ ebia upstate and say na owo ho no unim nia wosua. Enti ye benya emofra a wo mo kọ ya wo mo beba no wo mo say asori no wo mo agyae. Hey, we brobe kenten ma we jai. There's nothing you can say. But I have people telling me in Adventist church say one more quiet crown obia grant me and for phone class or friend business want to say. The church has a role to play through the programs that we offer the kids, through intrachrea yede emma was. They say technology about we can do a podcast and send it around. Intermediate in my engagement with these churches, especially the education department, I think that should be the major focus of the education department. It's not one time say you be celebrating. The celebrating is an icing on the cake. The actual work is the relationships we are building with our students. By the time they come back, they still have a sense that they belong to the family. For mama fancy her. It's a question and answer more be or what. You bet me the aba a brief from you bet to us.
Yo, Mami Kati, Madam Coordinator.
Hello. Pastor Mpatomi also. Yebeda onyankopon ase. Ye nyina yete de elder de afiri ni de odi akwakodri. Meka se obi a fa paper ne pen ne jot ne ma down. Ebre nu nie. Enti abue kwa me Mpatomi a star 6. Nefa o question and answer contribution bra. Na adesua ne enimu midase. Pastor Mpatomi person be mo abetimi aba.
That's Mammy.
Pacho, Pastor Pacho, oh, Bemwa, well, Bembian, Pacho, Bodia, Waka, baby, I won. Neja, Uhiam Webia, yet me, I Rachel near the Abro, with us. Pastor Pacho.
Yo, Nase, open for it, was a brave, canifo, Yameaqua, Yamishra be brave, named dear Hodua, or the Adomo, and never will be maybe so at the Achray. That's be brave. No. Asim here dear ba quantum you know, needy cano, no crepas or being for Nasem be or can ye say. I say, Unya nimidie, nectus of sum and canwa, or be your nipper be you 4 crown 4. One philosopher said, education without Christianity makes a man a clever devil. Nanya oda and a D. Ama you who sa. Na masembi sana say. And for crown we develop curriculum. Policy makers here. She addition or your friends in stage 12 and 11 near own senior way. And stakeholders parents, churches, community near come. What can one more build this curriculum?
Yo, Pastor, a very interesting question. Me da se say we bisa question. Na no krepa ni say ye wiase no ni ye sukuu no. It is guided by vested interests. Enti say ye can curriculum no a won say obi adwuma a wo ye no no. Adwuma no a ono eye ono in America a capitalist system. It's in ono or driven by profits. It is a waye na what the ba na ba ku mienu bi som na ye beto atua ne ka waye no woko. Ena what was that disua yesua saba school nyina so ma yete ase se nia ye ne kun ye nimu no. Enti no wabeka cho say you have to wear your full armor. The full armor that we have as stakeholders our education industry nim no and say parents have a voice. And Kolano Ankasa have their voice. And until the state can bring it. But if all parents are going to be united, now you push it for what is right, they are likely going to win. Last 2 years, not your treaty book, I wasn't the one treating it. One of my colleagues was treating it. Now, all treating, I think it was about Romeo and Juliet or so, but it was a middle school. One must start to yarn a parent therefore by a Becca and said, me banno me money, yes, I do. And the Intia isn't said it was explicit language in it. Into I don't want to. Once a parent comes to the fore, it is a responsibility of the school, say, the people that are complaining, we vary that curriculum for them. But if nobody comes, we are doing it. Well, it is imperative on us as parents, and say, we take an interest in what our kids are being taught. And Uber Baby to say New York City Department of Education, the whole thinking behind parent-teacher conference is to get a timely update on near air caution. But I can tell you, Pastor said, when there is time for that, the maximum, a school of about, let's say 200, the maximum number we have ever got, is 30. And in this situation, the question is, yeah, man, are we doing them good or bad? Because until Sakolani be 18, the parent has a say. But we are not. And in a class where there will be 20 kids, not 10 be say one be niema. Because obiama mekentino, the child will not be pulled. Ye betchere obeti. Na wo tie no. Afoba baby say identity right. Because only any other counter story to it. Back to your question, some of the curriculum dictated by the state. But one will say, state so because everything is dwelling on data. And the data no quick, fast, timely. And so people know beka jam say, idea we betimi on the spot data within a year. Chances are they will buy it. And sometimes they don't even review it. Some of the curriculum we are using even now, they don't review it. And see, like me, school, I was very fortunate to have a principal. She was admonishing the teachers to design the curriculum themselves. And see, what they did was, we have the International Baccalaureate. They teach you the framework. Okay, and say akwani hunu nyansa we. I was say otimi dwen say ade no a happen wa ha no enye American kwa na happen. Ebi will happen in Ghana, ebi happen in Afghanistan. Into akwala should be able to talk from multiple perspectives. Into that is the framework. The text you are using no your teacher no na be determined. Into unya Christo ni teacher. Now we choose tester a crystal for tests. And I think that if the voice of the parents is being towards a near maybe but it still comes to student voice, parent voice, and the voice of the stakeholders.
That's it. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pacha, more question.
Mommy, Pacha, baby, I know actually, baby, I want to ask you what the question no abba.
Pacha from Regina, Mikasa free Atlanta, Georgia. Now, Pacha, my question is say, Professor Pacha, say ye share Cecia no nyoma ekosona nipa bebre decide say ombema omoma ye homeschool. Meaning pa bebre omo ye homeschool na me pese me hu say because me ankasa me manzo so ye bi. Enti me pese me hu say homeschooling any physical school and I say in person no dear he na eye best because say homeschool no wo parent una wo ye o ma no learning coach then so no sometimes no it drew me the October 31st no be ye example because that day na ye Halloween day na omu yi Halloween movies and the teacher is sharing from on side and I want to miss you num competence on my banishe enti se bane sa na akweye say pese obane behwe but you have nothing to do no na pese me who say how does it help say drew one ma me bana me ne ne wo bi me num computer no na me manehwe ana say men can't tell grandson on sorry free computer no ma won hwe because o free class and so teacher ni be hu say we free a class oni ho enti eden na ye be ye oba homeschool pese obekọ physical school because they teach a lot of things and pese oba be sua even online school no so no there are things bia omo kira you can't help it eden na ye be ye pacho.
A very good question, Mommy. Well, first question is homeschool. Any the traditional setting, which one is the best? There is no straightforward answer to which one is the best. Ebia won a merit, and ebia so a one a demerit. So what ba the traditional school no one? When we say a to the bia, na yenina ye say ye manko Harvard. Yenina have say ye manko Yale. Any schools are Christian. The whole purpose for that, aside the education they are getting, is the network. Enti obi ebeko school. Owie ye no a esa ne papa adwuma a wo ye baby a wo nti no na ya connecting quick omme no wenya. Those are some of the benefits that come with the traditional. You get to meet the people, you interact with them over a period of like years. Into that connection is there. Aside that, you learn the people skills because there are people with different learning profiles. There are people who come with different experience from different backgrounds. The more you mingle with them, you are able to tell, say, at this point, I have to behave this way. At this point, I have to do things this way. And then, of course, the content that they are learning. Now, when you come to homeschool, you get the content, but not necessarily the human relations and the other aspects. Now, it makes you grounded. No, you don't really get it. Inti, Obi Wawa, I know a kid who did homeschool and now has transitioned to the traditional school. Oba class on peso obekasa. Why? Because that in-person engagement, when from the beginning, into osho do onim, but osho. Into those are things that we have to consider. Into if you are doing homeschool, try as much as possible. Say sorry. The conversations we are having, say about school, say the young school thing they talk about, the things that your kid may not be able to get because only in the traditional line, only those experiences from those kind of gatherings, it will make the kid holistic. Now, say yama content. Not content no aye day man. Like I said, the parent has a voice. And to my first question, I mean, so maybe Sani said, do you have access to the teachers? Because I know, say, in New York, no, they have a system where you can enroll your kid into it with the Department of Education or so, and then you can have access to them and call, like, this one I'm not happy with, how can we change it? Can you give an alternative assessment? Things like that. I don't know what is happening in your jurisdiction where you are, but I still believe that insofar as there is a teacher teaching, there are program managers, and you can contact the program managers. In my school, not all kids do Halloween. During Halloween, I have explicit statements. You cannot let them do this, and that. It's against what I believe in. Until they go by that. If need be, say waka yamfa, you can escalate it to the program managers and have a conversation with them. Until the conversation could be, say, around this time, I prefer that you make a packet for my student or my kid so that or complete it because I want to supervise it. And now say if there is an asynchronous assignment that you want to give, I want to see that assignment, but I don't want it to be related to that. Those are things that, because I don't have privy to what you have done, I may not be able to speak to it, but those are things that we can explore too. Mommy, me pacho, I think si ebema okwama wasen aba back na yenhwe say why you waiting now, but still it is still happening ana.
Me pacho me nye na me mano in-person school na COVID by na me do mo call you know.
Okay.
Home school no. Na the woman what can't see na what train my dream is because every family has this managers ya obo mu dey omo ye a family engagement. Almost sometimes they can even call you to ask you questions about your children. And to say ya what my dream is so now I think say I me no almost be kasa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost managers. In this old kasa na nya we escalate to the higher but I know say once the parents complain in education in America, parent complaints in Yango, I just a parent be a war ban on your grounded in your beka. But parent voice is very important.
Yeah. Okay, what my dreams is over that say. And na no time crowd no go home in-person school no na omo ye Halloween as dressing omo 1 week omo ye dressing be just
Spirit
to
week.
Yes, regarding that Halloween
Spirit week.
Yes. Mama me mana anye bi da. Ena omo ba home so ye mo ye but me ma omo nye enti ya na ye say me for omo nkwa Adventist school no so boarding me ntimi afford it enti de wo mu ane say
No, mommy, you are doing it right. The only thing is, what was that? In one of the educational theories, we call something operant conditioning. The more you yes I know now would say one say Cynthia yenye saying last week me baby bisa me say and then no ye more na so na and this is a 3rd grade oh Ariel is 3rd grade and then ye more na so na ne na for new almost school nyina de ya bo ma so and me che net na say na me church and say this is what we believe in. As it say. Now me kana me ba small boy ewo. Enti the next time you sorry, in fact this Sabbath, na one of the kids and so abonas. And I osan bisa question ni biom. Now the small boy was explaining to her what I said, explaining Cynthia ye moya so. And to we no ko bisa akola na kacha so no ne ma me nya SDA ni one ne na eba and it sort of helped what I was explaining. And since then omi serve you na me bomb pay say omi serve you.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, Brandon, to us opening pacho obo di anu abam.
Yo, Pastor, me di Daniel Ando. Na make us free Worcester. The same contribute kakra.
Good.
And you shop. Now, how many questions of Busan is here? No, me say me chipping kakra.
Okay,
The
good.
woman say, say you can't abofra. Asante kase mu pa no ase any say ya bona frafra. A parent, the church, society, to say the okay, and then the school and the community, involve. You can see any woman be complete. Into your social setup, no, there's no way you can run away out of it. If you say a piece of way, yes, say we are the crab on your hododo, and so we are supposed you man, you know, woman and now a cover ye bibia. Now, one thing I'm in Joseph, Daniel, is Shadrach, Meshach, Mono. Oh, my, traditional education there, ye young navy. Only home education and umunyai. Your educational setup in Ghana now. Before the formal education, Ghana. Now, the type of education called home education. Omo mano. Na adi omo yeni. Ye free be observation. Ne mahame I didn't know. Participating. The oil no also the nisa sumbi no na oyebi. Communicating. Na oni ni din komo efa abraboni nyamanema bebre ho. And at the last of all, conversation. Oh, a true baby and our busa question no mammy su no na say asumudie ya o kan wasemi. The best answer to give them and he say no man no me slaves and kwa and then ye bo masu. It we a dish here even as santima mu kra santima ye monasu ye nshana sumade. Ba hima po no kra no o mu ye bibi pa e che to ye dish enti. Sa ni man ye mfa nshana so. Nti na yen you believe say addition nyame addition nti yen no sa man we don't involve ourselves in. And I look down chances so your principles the triple H principle. First H is the training of the head. You find say formal education be call school you be chira wade ana so obi call level bi opedia fine you know. And second H near heart, moral education you know so nyame entity. And the last one hand you know so if you what's all about woman children if you are the man then in sa any ni pedua nyina even adibia aduma chedi bi ehye no mu bia ho and what's aspiring oboa obanoma onso so onya bibi free hono enti yen the parents no and you carry the greater percentage in our child training no and some society in the bia beka ho school the bia beka ho na sorry the bia beka ho amana e complete nti akra ne hye yamu kura no he say most die no na ne maame bom pai ma no all man no for no wo twena dwesi so we Israel ni o ti akra ne nyi no na edi ni tiri mu dem se medie men pa me hu kobo Egypt for na me ko di ade empower me nyame na medie me maame a chechem se me Israel nti sai bi na me dem say yeah experience no it made the boy a man more very good foundation they will never depart from it. If I show me that.
That's I think it's a valuable input. God bless you.
Yeah. I mean, who said no being sour straw? Patrobi was a miss a bit me abem. Yo. Adam Patrobia Maya, Bassam Bisaka cram person me be sending. Say, only a Casano, okay, ye be say. Said the okay church involvement in Colano, I dissuade no BBA mono.
Yeah.
Okay, BB says, more special more colleges no. Ebia it say na bia ya kan ho abom mafre no wutimi ne kasa we bibia na oka to the extent they say wutimi any even the teachers no ya communication na hu de ekoso na mo abetimi de aboa na say no sa say ya sorry o but say de bia say we say ye wunyi ni say bi me cat ya meti no na eda jechi mafre wo bai wo college ho na me ma take over na me bisa the teacher for we na me boa no a you say bet me say me too know na why say me interfere wo oba niema mu ana mpacho ho ubibi mu kakra ma ya ni aka
Mommy, what mu say? Ideally, no your problem pa your war is set where you two know any man.
yeah
So or abofra college, most of the time, first years they don't really know what they want to do.
yeah.
Into coaching, guidance is very, very important. Now, when I talk about say reaching out, sometimes you cannot even get the professors because at the college level, no professor, a few of them will give their numbers out. But every college say sorry, I won't say you work Ghana no. Say SSR, we have the Adventist Church. Adventist Church, no, your liaisons one more like contact people, right? And you can contact those people. And as an education department, if we really have relationships with
The children.
your students through conversations, oh, Abia, Audrey, I want to reach you. Like, how? Sometimes I want to check in with you. Mommy, oh, you're okay. I want to, like, that relationship, what it does is it gives us the opportunity to provide the guidance that we can. And the Abia, na minimum obia, me dear education, we be some science, I may not be able to really give you that update. But I have friends who are surgeons. Inti and madam fuwe waha, mami misa na na se me van na ne bisa no said ya, that kind of brings us together like that. There was I think last week, one as a family friend, every time me say, oh, I want to go to also a person is surgeon, right? Into no bisa me say, what does she need to do? Because I feel what high school I apply. And what I said was that I asked a friend, and also tell me the prerequisites, the science prerequisites near no. But ubetimia any major, your major should be in the sciences, but maybe ubetimia a minor or something. Now apparently me go say that there is a nurse practitioner or even correct member of the family there, right? If there is anything, the point should come from the nurse practitioner because I am more into education, right? But how do we build that kind of relationships where Ebema and leverage to help them? That is what I mean. As a church, the education department, they compose specifically to meet the needs of the people into your 124 kakra wom, your kakra wom, that makes no. What I am advocating for is that at least there should be a port system where say a mofra those that are in college a tenor. Now we have a team of 5 education department. We should map 10 at least 2 be one. So 1, 2, no, 1 na you did 2 na shawon. Your responsibility should be say, all college you check up on the person with the permission of the parents. All college say our guidance counselor be and our high school I know every high school has a guidance counselor and an advisory system. Call them and check up. Oh, me nipa say. Ma sorry amikoni. Eyi ma sorry ba. He's part of the education department. With the parent approval, me fair bisa send them what to say. Now this yomu boko. And yet deep eyi bia. When it has to be deep, ebia onipa nwankasa will come and ask you, say, oh, Eldaji, I am doing this. Do you have any ideas on that? Then you can share. Because privacy concerns and so are very important. But I know, say, as a church, if we are able to build those relationships, near removing gaps, and who so do, and our two no do, mommy, ya can't be a me. But maybe the end say, those things don't move me. Insofar as Onipanaya will and say, Opeso Okon, Niame fa swa, mimitimi koyeno. I will share it. Obeya, okay. So one ya, my yama family, me median. That is a response I think I can give, mommy.
Thank you. Ejidi from Pamcho, ya bre no ko, ya de bre be ya adwuma. Nti we de ya mane na no no ho asem o. Wo de bisa na elder e wo hwe de omwa ye ni Pamcho bebre. Na elder Mpacho sesi a no ye hwe krom ha se Mpacho cat ni bi mo New York. Kroma say no, say no, ne kroma mpo wiase nyinaa kwa say de kwa koso yi a gay ne lesbian ne de keke ka ho yi a koso yi wo wiase a in fact enhye nyame anu nyam yi. Yenim say ye kyerɛkyerɛ mofra ne wo school ne nyinaa. De say no how bi a ɛwɔ hɔ kakra ɛma parents because say just a school no chere yen so nkola na ba fie nso akire different thing but mo hu say bible chi sa ni obsa yes na nkola no so ma ye confused the sa na ma ye kwaso mu amo wo eho no ene say na main cancer education na say government no 200 asem no ache say wo mutimi kire sa na ma no abia most of the parents no so ene nye ho say be basa especially Christians na ene nye ho because it's your bible asem no ene so ye kan say ana.
I know the dicey kakra because in America, I don't say those kind of freedoms and all of that. But when they talk about it, sometimes and yet in the mainstream classes.
Okay.
Because so about mainstream classes, no. Say a high schooler, we have the math, algebra 1, algebra 2, maybe calculus, we have the sciences, living environment, physics, and those kind of stuff. In the mainstream classes, no, I have not seen that. I have not seen that. What happens is they do it through clubs. Well, what I will also advise, Nene say, like I'm saying, if we are invested in our kids' education, then we are asking our kids, and I will go to school club, then I will join. So we are able to identify, say, club we near intimacy. Now back to on near what was that? Another elder Daniel Elkan. If we start them early, not yet church one will say, and you may be a doctrina. And you may be one based on the Bible. Bible sembia kanu ye no kwe. Inti se yadem pa ye pa tight nya ye kanechia church in year. For me, it will be impossible for anybody to tell our children anything for them to believe. But if we are not being strategic, Adiano, I say, ye can't na ye yankasa, you're thinking on it another day, A B, we are not sustaining even the conversations we are having. Maybe one of them. Or no ankasa ye ni obey you awada. The conversation is not there. The family relationship is not there. We don't even talk about issues. Any obe ko akoti na obe fair. But baby, I just said that planted pa say, and then ye fa esuya adiewe. Mama ye nsuya. Say won so wako school kakra. Me so me dia me nim no me be cheche. Ye share ideas on it. Yemfa Bible, yemfa mame white and woman church. Yensuya the root causes, baby a feedback. Na yakodro. Na hin one person woman de yeko. Na ye research about even what we say. It's a lot to what did it for? A binum research a woman yen. And crofo na say that you are mokakra say woman yes are researching. And even the research that coming out no, and you na holistic oh. Ya said that you because on may no from polluting environment. And we have to do a deep dive. And untina, what was it? Say SD sorry, you can say the spirit of prophecy no. the significance no and what we say and yes so in what into the same way na ye be what some research be a grounded in onyamia semwa a support say yen ge niema yen talking about and as a lesbianism niema nye there. I respect them, yes. I don't hate them, no. But me nkoka and who nsua ho ade. Inti abra ye hwe the club side na ye hwe dia ye wo fie. I think say it will help. Isn't say train up the child the way uncle onia onfa ho. Or me that say.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did it for the assume no baby yo. Okay. Yeah, Eda say every no ya bit na my mimi say we ne boy and son I did you na baby.
Okay.
See I dey yes no say a try say young parents me see I got here staff involved we a man abrabo mu a ebeboa pa. And then the church. Na say so kroma say ya we no. Ebi a me ke no me ya double because triple me jump see adwuma we mu me point na ma jump asi na ma jump basa parent teacher association meeting ye frɛ o school me nko ye see here me teacher o school oh da bi me ntimi oh me frɛ adwuma ma nya kwan de e de sa na ma yiye ho ano na sa na ma na ma no so no kyese de ye hu no okroma no emwa ye nti afutuo be na ade be ma yen especially Christians was ene ma no a adwuma no afa time nyina no a
mommy say ye wa adwuma mi say wo adwuma na yare ye bomba ye sure pa say wo jai dia wo ye bia say obekwa akɔhwɛ wo ho say de be ya wo ho ebe ya wo den ansa na wato awa adwuma no so say me wa futuo bi a anka meka say yemfa those moments no said dia ye dey ko hospital
right
because said dia yen ya pomudin ehia yen ye ma pomudin ba ko ene ho esan say if we do not prepare to help the process any what is being learned what is being learned no will eventually unprepare them. Now the results no enye nika. Nti agidi for like I'm saying me say my responsibilities are bebree. Nti me a lot of the time my wife na or represent. I thank God for that. Say at least me you know obe balance ya mami. But in an event where I have to, I'll make every effort. Say me ye. And until I did it for say ye me no and I can reform dear any the Ghanaian community no men can say. Na most of the time in percentage terms no a two family. And that explains the reason why the Ghanaian students no a discipline. I'm not saying that we may not get single parent, but even the single parents, they are very strict. Well, but it doesn't happen like that too. In a whole class, only mommy, papa me who crowd. And those kind of vacuums, no, and moi papa, but yenya. Inti yenya no, say, mammy intimi nkwa, papa nko. Se papa ntimi nkwa maame nko se ekoye baako pa mesrew se ye mako 5 and ya schedule for the year wo de komu 2 na 2 ni mu no me sure say wonyame beboa ma every information that you need about your kid you get those informations and you'll be able to help them.
And that's a very say a breno asonti Obema ye kakra bi a wode beja ye kwan se be ya ye koda ye dwene ho a ebeboa ma ya get yourself involved ye male bibia muntima ye close na yi na afi ye fa dwumadi no emre wie me das
You edit for ye wie die Mame White asɛm a ɔka ye ɛna me de ewie Or say every true teacher will feel that shouldering the responsibility of character, building is a sacred and high mission. Christian Adventist education creates a supportive community that extends beyond graduation. Into our focus should not only be as a people, enye consistent, but we kano na we boaha, we de fahano na we de faha. Asori no ye kakra education department ni ye bi parents ni nya time ano woko ye mofra no ye benya womo. Efie die no nso moma ehun hia yen. Ede ne ye cheche wo fie. Yenya time kura bisa ye man say won ho to say. The socio emotional aspects are very important. Abofra ne ko school no obi aka asem bi anya ne de oba ya na obe share dem yampamua. It will affect the learning process for some time. In the agility for as parents and families, we have a role to play. And as a church, we have a role to play. Mempa ye pa ne say, me ene wa edwe ye wala yesu no. Onyame nka ye ho no omo aye. Omie ya dwene eniwa ewo ye ma adesua ho. Na daachi bi no, yenya ye may as functional citizens of the world and the church. Amen.
Amen. Amen.